So hello everybody, welcome to our Designing Kick-Ass Ads webinar. Swearing in the title seems to attract a lot of attention because we've had an amazing response to this. And since there are so many of you on the webinar, I'm going to ask that you save all of your questions until the end, and we'll leave some time after the presentation to answer them. You can also email them to service@metro-email.com. And we'll try to get back to you within about 24 hours, especially if you need to leave early, and we'll still get your questions answered. And then later today or possibly tomorrow, you'll get an email with a link to the recording of the webinar and a link to our good versus bad ads booklet that you can use for reference. So my name is Bethany. I recognize a lot of your names popping up. I'm with Metro's customer service team. And usually it's my department that does our webinars, but for this one, we brought in the professionals because designing is not really my thing. Our Vice President of Creative Services, Daryl Davis, and Senior Graphic Designer, Laura Cook. Now, if you are familiar with Metro, you know that we have thousands of ready-made ad templates that you can choose from. We've done all the hard work of creating great looking ads so that all you potentially have to do is just a bit of customizing. But we know that there will be plenty of times when you need to start from scratch, or when a client wants to play art director, which doesn't always go so well. So Daryl and Laura are going to give you expert tips on the do's and don'ts of what makes an ad work for clients. The benefit for those of you who are designers is obvious. For those of you in sales, even though you're not doing the actual designing, this should give you the confidence to help guide your clients into making good decisions. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to Daryl.
Thank you, Bethany. Welcome everyone, and I'm really happy to hear we've had such a great turnout, and also a big group representing a wide variety of roles in the industry, so that's fantastic for us to be reaching you like this. Just to start out, carrying on with what Bethany said, obviously the purpose of all advertising is to sell products, services, or ideas, or to engage people in an event. And designing good, effective advertising is necessary, obviously, to engage prospective customers, clients, consumers. But in addition to building a relationship with consumers, it's important for sales and design to build a relationship within a media company that's creating these ads. So building relationships and caring for your customers is important. Working together as a sales and design team is vital. And obviously the objective is to create ads that sell and get great results. To start out, before all of this, I think one of the most important things to talk about is copyright laws. And obviously all of our content is clear and free of any copyright infringement, but we are constantly seeing people that create ads that are using a famous photograph or something that they've pulled off the internet, sometimes even with a watermark left on it. Before getting into any of this, I think it's just really smart to remind everyone out there that it's important to protect yourself by not using images directly from the internet or any unrecognized source. If you yourself didn't take the photo or create the image yourself, you do need someone's permission to use it. Beyond images, this applies to situations that involve trademark phrases like Super Bowl, March Madness, the Oscars, the awards. And we've been working with someone who's looking to do a Daytona 500 situation, which is also the same thing. Corporations pay many hundreds of thousands of dollars for clear use of this stuff. So it's something to always bear in mind as you're moving forward to create any kind of advertising.
Oops, hold on.
So before Laura gets into some of the rules and regulations for creating great design, I just want to start by pointing out some graphic trends that we're seeing at Metro and that we're providing as well. And we just kind of narrowed it down to 4 here for you to take a look at. But things are often trending, and trendy things are visually interesting and appealing often appealing to consumers in a fashion-y way. So we just want to show you a couple of these. The first one that we chose is neon. I think neon's something that, everybody loves. It's bold, it's colorful. A lot of times it utilizes type that can really grab your attention. Here we're seeing some, sorry.
Not done.
No, that's okay. No, here we're seeing a couple developments using, like, for instance, the burger neon and the taco neon. It's great also to create a campaign, create a look. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. So also something that's trending and that we're finding very popular is flat design graphics. They've been trending for a couple years, but what we find is that they communicate really quickly. I think they're able to be used for a variety of instances to either punctuate an existing graphic or to become the way of communicating the ad itself. And because our brain sometimes processes symbols quicker than we read, we find that that's something like that's a visually intuitive and helps create great ads like this one. Next up, something that has also been trending for a while, and we are a huge fan of, is infographics. And it's a great way to combine editorial text content with interesting visuals. They tend to have a bit of an educational slant because you can kind of get drawn into them and read about some facts and figures. And in these instances, we find that they're fantastic when they're coupled with a premium advertiser that supports the graphic ad. So we're talking from left to right. We have one here for agriculture and farming, which we've been, we also produce a lot of content for agriculture and farming. Our COVID-19 efforts, which we can talk a little bit more about in, moving forward. But something very important, when we first started creating these in response to the pandemic a year ago, we just started to see the stuff take off, and the downloads were tremendous. And, we've continued to serve the advertising needs during the pandemic, which have certainly created a very specific need. Next over here is one about voting. You may have heard we did have an election recently. So this is something that kind of broke down some of our election process. And again, we combined it with a premium advertiser to support that content. And then lastly, disaster prep, something that's happening constantly all over our country, all over the world, obviously. But again, facts and figures combined with illustration, sponsored by one advertiser or several advertisers. It could certainly be a group situation. But these are hot. These are really nice looking. And now moving into our COVID content, which really, I'm not sure how to even describe how much the virus has altered our ability to communicate our design needs. Not only were we kind of all acting on the fly as we were seeing businesses close, but what we found was that we had very specific needs about communicating to a customer base. People weren't advertising, people weren't going into stores. It really created a very specific situation that we found an interesting way to react to. We realized that the advertising during COVID kind of broke down into, we needed to say we're all in this together. I know a lot of people are sick of hearing we're all in this together, but the fact of the matter is we are, and everybody's been trying to work together to, struggle through this. I think the second wave of COVID advertising was important for us to communicate. You can shop in our stores safely. We have mask mandates, or we have special hours for elderly who are at greater risk to come and shop in our retail environments. But again, Metro has provided fantastic photography, ads, images, headings, everything along those lines. So it's been an interesting learning curve for us. And I guess from here, I'm going to turn it over to our senior designer, Laura Cook, who's going to take you through some rules and regulations for creating kick-ass ads.
Hi, everyone. There are a variety of people joining us from different roles. So I'm hoping that by going through the design basics, it kind of will just be a reminder for designers of things that we can think about as we're designing ads. And also for salespeople, you'll be able to point out these effective design elements to your clients to show them that it will be effective. Bethany said that earlier better than I did. So it's really important to have a salesperson recognize what is working in an ad as well. So no matter what design style or trend you're going to use when you're creating your advertisement, you really want, number one, the ad to be read, and number two, to accurately represent the advertiser. So I'm going to go through these 10 elements of a good ad that we came up with. We have appropriate image and font. So these are very visual, quick things that without reading a single word, a consumer will be able to get an idea or a feel for the business. Number two, you really want a strong headline. This is going to be the first copy that a consumer will read. So you want it to draw the person in, give them a reason to finish reading the ad, which is then the clear message that follows below. And then also, there should be a balance and an eye flow to the content. A lot of times a image or graphics will help make the eye flow and point to text and copy that you want to point out. Adequate white space is also necessary, especially on text-heavy newspaper ads, newspaper pages. So you want there to be, adequate white space in the ad, so that a reader can digest each piece of information in the ad. There should be a benefit to the consumer. Why are they reading the ad? Is there an offer? Is there a sale? Is there an event? What does the business want the consumer to know about their business? And then finally, complete contact information, website, social media, that should all definitely be there. There are two acronyms that we use in the design world to kind of keep us on task and think about things as you're designing. One is KISS, to keep it simple and straightforward. People are very quick to judge and just take bits of information. So you want your message to be simple and straightforward. And then there's also AIDA, which is attention, information, desire, and action. You want to grab the reader's attention, give them the information, create a desire, and get them to act. So I'm just going to go through a couple of design examples. This ad is a smaller ad, so there's not much space to get too graphic with it. So the strong headline is also the incentive. Free family workouts. It pairs with the image. They work together. You can see it at a glance. You can comprehend the message quickly. And then the offer is, getting the reader to act by visiting the social media Instagram account to participate in this. So even on small ads, having a dynamic image paired with a strong headline is key to get a message across quickly. In this ad, I'm showing how to incorporate the text within the image. A lot of times when I'm designing, I like to choose the image I'm going to use first, or at least if I'm given an image, kind of sit with the photograph for a little bit and decide how text can be moved around that image, because that'll really lend itself to how you want to display the text. This image had a nice color palette, so I continued it throughout the ad. And just the positioning of the hand is pointing you toward the headline, which is, you know, a reason to utilize this business, no way to spend your weekend cleaning. And then the hand is also sort of pointing to the offer, which is this incentive to try the service. So really, you know, work with either the image you're given or find an image that you think has a nice graphic element to it that will lend itself to following text as you're reading the ad. This example is kind of an extreme example of balance and flow. I chose these EPS photographs of some food, placed them on the side, creating this V shape. Your eye directly goes to the headline, home gating giveaway. Everything's center justified, and it's bringing the reader through the ad to take in all the information and then straight down to the advertiser information. And then along the sides, right and left justified, you have the additional information. So if someone is interested in this and participating, then they go seek out the bits of information that they can act on. So out of all these 10 elements, I think the two that are most important, especially in newspaper advertising, are an appropriate image and font, because that will give a consumer an impression of the business without even reading a single word. And people are very quick to judge in that manner. And then also adequate white space, because a newspaper page is very text heavy, a lot of black and white, and you really want to utilize that white space to draw a reader in. So first, appropriate image and font. Visuals give information immediately and keep your attention longer. The images can illustrate what an ad is for very quickly, and the font helps give a feeling about the establishment. Traditionally, serif fonts are a little more formal. Scripty fonts, like elegantly scripted fonts, are also formal, or you think of like a jewelry ad or things like that. And then handwritten fonts are more casual. So those kind of things, you just think about as you're choosing a font for the establishment, because you want it to represent the business's style and feel. So both the images and fonts together clue the consumer in right away on things like price, atmosphere, family friendly, and if you are even interested in going to this place. So at the bottom of 3 ads, all 4 could be used for Italian restaurants. The first one has, a couple dressed nicely, wine. You're gonna think that's more expensive. Maybe you need a reservation. The middle one is definitely more trendy. It has that style of photography that's overhead, the wood background, the extra ingredients strewn about. It just has that trendy feel, maybe like a mid-range price. Don't have to get dressed up to go there. And then the last one is more, just a close-up of a simple, delicious Italian meal. It makes you think a little less expensive, probably family friendly. So right away, just an image, look at an image and you're gonna make a judgment on it. So it's important to pick appropriate images and graphics to represent the business. So how do you know what image or font to use? So obviously the type of businesses lend you to think different things for imagery and different fonts. If a business provides images, that's always good, because that gives you somewhere to start off. And I always used to find that as a challenge when a salesperson would bring me the photographs that an advertiser wanted to definitely use in their ad, and I'm like, okay, how am I going to make this work? And then also just their logo and general branding on their website, their social media, you can see what kind of style they like. Also, salespeople have a direct line to to the advertiser. They talk to them, they're making the sale. So any information about the business that they can relay to the designer is helpful to help get that initial ad feel nailed down in the beginning. Designers might not need to go to a child care facility. They don't have children. So any little bits of information that the salesperson can offer to the designer is going to be helpful making that initial ad. Next, I want to talk about white space, and I'm not talking about, you know, this very minimalist white space design. Like over here, I have the Metro logo and just the slogan, because you don't generally see that in a newspaper. But using white space adequately will help an ad stand out on the text-heavy newspaper page, and it gives the eye a moment to pause and to take in the information. So I'm going to show a couple of examples. This one and the next one are two redesigns I did for a conference a few years ago where people submitted their design problem, their problem ads. So this one, immediately I noticed that the text is just running too close to the edges. The font size is all kind of the same, very similar, so you don't know where to look first. And all the bits of information are kind of like running together too closely. There's no pause. I placed it on a sample newspaper page, and you can see how the text on the page is really running right into the headline of the ad. So you just want a little breathing space. So here's the redesign I did, which first I just made the headline stand out more, because that's what you want. If the reader is only going to read one bit of the ad, you want them to read the headline, and then they can decide if this is something that they're interested in, if it's something that pertains to them, and then they can continue reading. And then you can see I have the information kind of in different blocks with a nice amount of white space around it, and then a very nice space of white around the border. So then you get that break between the newspaper text and the start of the ad. So when this ad came in as a problem ad, I could definitely see that it was a problem ad. This is a lot of text. And sometimes it's hard to find white space, but the advertiser, the person paying for the ad, they think every bit of information about their business is important, and they want, well, that's exciting, everything's exciting, put it all in. But as designers, we have to order the copy in a way that is going to draw the reader in and get them to read all the bits of important information. So, it's really all about presenting a hierarchy of information. So when I redesigned it, the name of the festival was almost even getting lost in the previous ad. I just wanted to make that the largest, when, where, time, and then all these additional bits of information are kind of placed in sections, each with like a nice larger font call out, so then they can decide even if they want to read that section, if that pertains to them, the activities, who is hosting, the bands. You don't have to read it all. You can pick up on words that excite you. And then that's going to get more people to read it, because there are a lot of activities to tout here. So also like using bursts or call outs. I have a little star here on some information that might be more exciting, that you want someone to draw attention to get them to read. And that is another thing that a salesperson can relay to a designer. I was talking to the owner of the business and they're super excited about this. They're not getting this kind of clientele in, so they really want it's not the main purpose of the ad, but we want to highlight this additional offering we have, so those are things, again, salespeople have direct line to the person purchasing the ad, to relay that information to the designer so you can get the design right the first time. So now out of design elements, I just want to talk a little bit about campaigns, because campaigns are excellent for the newspaper and for an advertiser. The newspaper obviously gets regular revenue, but also for an advertiser, it's just really great brand recognition. By the third run of an ad that has the same look, same style, a consumer is not even going to have to read the name of the business. They know right away that's Advanced Auto Repair. I remember that from last week, that have the same style. So it's just that good brand recognition for the advertiser. So with a campaign, you want the feel to stay the same and just change slightly each time. So the first initial ad, you have, you choose your fonts, your style, and the general layout. And once a designer is happy with that initial layout, if, a salesperson thinks that this, might be a business that would run consecutive ads, it's not that huge of an ask to ask for a couple of spec ads to start a campaign. The designer already has a look, the layout, and at Metro we have lots of artwork that is in the same style. I believe with these road signs, we have like 10 or 12 more of different shapes and colors. And a lot of our artwork has that, you can get like different, people shopping in different stores, but all the same look. So it's really helpful for campaigns. Also, we have a lot of campaign templates. So even just with copywriting ideas, to present, you can look up the type of business, maybe just jot down a couple of the copy headline ideas to give to the designer to have them create a campaign that you can show up with and show, 3 or 4 ads in that could be sold right then and there. And then finally, I just want to talk about newspaper, magazine, and digital ad differences. Again, it would be great for a designer to know right away if there's a possibility that an ad might run on a different platform, because there's certain things you want to think about on that initial ad if you are going to try to convert it into one of these other platforms. So if you're starting out with a newspaper ad, newspaper ads tend to have more copy, and it's good to choose an image that's going to work in color or black and white in case an advertiser decides, to save a little money and run black and white. And there's usually a clear call to action, an offer, a sale, something like that. With a magazine ad, so starting with that original newspaper ad, if you knew it might run in a magazine, you're going to want to choose an image that is, very clean space to kind of have more of a brand recognition, because there's going to be less copy in the magazine ad. So you want the photo to really pop, and you're also going to need a higher resolution photo. Metro, all of our photos also have a 300 DPI JPEG available for download as well. So you're going to get that high res, but you also want to make sure it's an image that you think would look good as a full page photograph. And then finally with digital ads, these are kind of like billboards. They're quick, as someone, just like if you're driving in your car, if you're scrolling on a website, you want to see it, quick, image, headline, clear call to action of, learn more, shop now, view our menu. So again, with the original image choice, it would be good for a designer to know and to choose an image that's going to work in these very dramatic sizes of shapes of web and mobile ads. They're either very tiny, very horizontal, very vertical, or square, and it can be tricky to manipulate an image to fit all those shapes. So if there's a possibility that an advertiser would also purchase a web ad, it's good to know in the beginning so a designer can choose an image that is going to translate to those platforms as well.
Helps if I unmute myself. All right, thank you. That was great information. So one of the benefits of your Metro subscription is that you don't have to go it alone and design everything from the ground up. You can use Metro for inspiration. And you can start in the search book. The search book is an easy way to see everything that's new in our current issue. So all of the images and ad layouts that reflect timely topics, holidays, and design trends. You can always do keyword searches in the Creative Library, but by looking through the search book each month, you won't miss anything. If you've sat in on any webinars that I've done, you've heard me say it's like walking into Target. You didn't know that you needed something until you saw it on the shelf in front of you, and then in your cart it goes. Same with the search book. You may see something flipping through the search book that inspires you that you wouldn't have thought to search for initially. You can also click on a page of the search book and it'll open that content directly in the Creative Library, so you can download it easily, which brings us to the next source of inspiration, the Creative Library. If you have a layout design in mind, you can find images to use in the Creative Library. Or maybe you're just stuck on coming up with copy for your ad. Our ready-made templates can give you some ideas. Or if you're just pressed for time and you need something quick, you can use our entire ad template and just customize the parts that are needed. If you are in sales and you're in here looking for ad ideas, you can search the same content from the sales area that you can in the Creative Library. But you'll have the advantage of also finding revenue generating ideas in here, as well as a lot of links to other helpful sales tools. But if your paper or your company subscribes to our presentation tool called the My Ad Wizard, sales reps can create professional looking spec ads to take out to clients by just simply adding the client's contact information to one of our existing ad templates. And then when that ad sells, a designer can take over for the rest of the customizing. Our new forum is another spot to look for inspiration. Here you can get and share ideas with us and with each other. So when you start designing some of those kick-ass ads and you want to show them off, or you've created some great revenue generating promotion, this is a perfect place to share it. Our planning and promotions calendar is a resource that can help give your clients new reasons to advertise. You can check out the monthly, weekly, and daily events for promotional opportunities that may relate to your business. So for example, March is Adopted Guinea Pig Month. So you can suggest that your local pet stores run promotions to advertise guinea pigs. Who doesn't want a guinea pig? Me. So there were a couple of things that Laura mentioned that I want to make sure that you know how to find in the Creative Library. And one of those is the ad campaigns. So when you're in the Creative Library, you're going to go down to the spec ads and covers filters where it says print ad type and choose campaign. And all of the ads in the campaign usually come up together, but you can also click the more options icon, which are the three little stacked lines, or the hamburger icon, I guess. And then scroll down to related content and you'll see all the ads in that campaign in one place. The other thing she mentioned is web and digital ads. You can find those under the spec ads and covers filters by selecting the web mobile option, and this will bring up all the digital ads. If you're looking for digital ads with a print component so you can sell a complete campaign, you're going to want to choose print with web mobile. That'll bring up the print ads, and each one will have a W underneath. When you click the W under the print ad, you'll see the section for web mobile ads, and all the digital ads will be right there. And these are going to download as layered Photoshop files, so they're easy to customize. So Laura also spoke a lot about communication. For those of you in sales, we have a lot of different ways that you can communicate with your clients and also with your designers. So for your clients, whenever you hover over one of the ads in the Creative Library or the sales area, you'll have an option to view a PDF, which you can print out, or you can attach it to an email if you want. There's also an option for a print preview, which is what you see on the right. You have the ad preview. There's an area for you to make notes while you're with your client. It'll print out with your name at the bottom, which is one reason we like everybody to have their own passwords. And then there's the Metro file name, which is going to be important for your designers. And when it comes time to present to you or to communicate what you need with the designers, you have, in that same hover, there's the file name, so you can give them that. That's the most important thing that the designers are going to need, so they can plug that into the Creative Library and download the Quark or InDesign package. Again, you can hand them the print preview if they're in-house, and it will have your instructions written here and the file name. You can also email a file link. Just click on that, it will open up a blank email with the link. If you don't communicate via email, you can also copy that link and you can paste it into a website. So if you're using a website to submit orders for your designers, you can just paste it right in there. And then the last way is to add it to a project. So if you're using the project organizer to save ideas, you can share it. Just click the add sharing button and choose whoever you want to share it with right through the project organizer. If you are new to Metro, or if you just want to learn about some of the specific features that I've mentioned, like the project organizer or the wizard, we have a huge library of video tutorials, which you can find under the support menu, and they're all pretty quick, pretty short. We can also set up new user or refresher training for anyone on how to use our website, and you can just email us or call us to set that up. And I guarantee you'll learn something new through our webinars, even if you've been using Metro for decades. If you are in sales and you haven't already signed up for one of our sales, or if you haven't already sat in on one of our sales training webinars, we have one coming up next week. And during that, we'll go into a lot more detail on how to use some of the specific features and tools like the calendar, the wizard, finding ideas, and a lot more. So if you're interested in that, you'll find a link to register for the live webinars, again, under our support menu. And if you are on this webinar and you don't have your own password, so, when you're on our site searching, if you look in that top right-hand corner and you see somebody else's name there, contact us to set up your own password. We'll also be going through the registration list, and if we find anyone who doesn't have their own password, you might be getting an email from us assigning you one. And for any of you who are the Metro contact person who usually handles setting up passwords, you can now do it yourself if you like through the My Account link on our site. Just go to the Manage Users button and you can view your whole staff list. You can, it's the beginning of the year. It's a great time to make sure all your new staff members have access, email addresses are up to date, and anyone who's no longer with the paper gets deleted, or with the company gets deleted. If you don't see that button and you need to have access, let us know and we can set that up. And if there's anything else you need, you can contact our client relations team at 800-223-1600, or you can email us at service@metro-email.com. And Daryl, I'll throw it back over to you for this one.
Thanks, Bethany. Again, thank you, everyone. I hope that some of this content was helpful. We are making available our Good Ad versus Bad Ad e-booklet on our site. And we also have materials from the Relevance Project relevanceproject.net, which is an initiative of newspaper association managers, including more than 8,500 newspapers in North America. And this contains some amazing content to help everyone get back in gear advertising post-COVID. And please check it out. I would urge you to check it out. And last thing I would like to say was, Bethany's going to be giving our contact information. Please feel free to contact me directly with any content needs that y'all may have. We are ready and willing and able to help. So again, hope this has been helpful, and thank you.
All right, and now we're going to open it up for some questions. We've never had this many people on a webinar before. I don't know what to expect for the number of questions that are going to come in, so bear with us here. Let me open up my Q&A, and let me just check. All right, there are a couple in the chat. Go ahead and type your questions in the Q&A, and that way I just have one place to look for all the questions. I'll check the chat here. There are a few in there. So while you're
I see one question. Are you providing a copy of this presentation? And we will be doing that after we conclude today.
Yes. Okay, that's all the weather.
I answered the one about the 9 design elements on the list. There were 10, although I couldn't get back to the screen to just count them, but balance and iFlow were separate items. I just had them listed together.
Which is the next.
Got me freaking out there for a minute.
Laura can't count. She can design ads, but she can't count. All right, can you show how to get to the campaigns again, please? All right, and also a question, can you show us how to see the newest stuff in Metro? All right, so for both of those, all right, hold on, let me get to the website here, and I will show you how to find those things live, and it'll be a little bit clearer than the slides. Should have thought to have this open already.
Can you just pop back, Bethany, to the 10 elements design? I'm gonna check. Someone's asking if they could show us the 9 design basics page again. So maybe it's this.
All right, so
10. Well, 9 and 10 are the acronyms to keep in mind, but so I guess there are 8 elements and 2 design acronyms to keep in mind.
All right, and that'll be those 10 elements are in the good ad versus bad ad PDF also, right? That they'll be getting. All right. Okay, so let's get into all right. I've got all my Zoom windows are in my way. I can't see my MCC controls.
While Bethany's pulling this up, I saw another question, Daryl, about car models for 2021. Do you know anything about getting?
Yeah, definitely. That's something that it would benefit a prospective user to speak directly to our customer service department. We work with in a place that creates auto imagery, and we have virtually every model, make, and color being shot and delivered to us. Unfortunately, there have been some COVID delays with some models and some colors, but we will try to get you whatever you need. And that's another situation where no one should hesitate to contact us or me directly with that.
I see another question asking about, how more about the communication between a sales rep and a designer. I worked at the Buffalo News and our alternative news weekly for about 5 or 6 years before going to Metro 11 years ago. So I know a lot about that, and I was hoping in this presentation to kind of give some salespeople kind of like the basic design rules that a lot of designers use so that they can see the benefit of the way we design. A lot of times salespeople are just the ear, the sounding board of the business owner, and they want everything in the ad and they want everything shown. But as a designer, you know that no one's going to read all of it unless you get their attention and draw them into the ad. So hopefully through this presentation, maybe like salespeople have picked up some terms, some design basics, so that they can see the benefit of the way a designer is presenting the information. I mean, ultimately, the person paying for the ad, unfortunately, gets the final say. So, but hopefully, you know, salespeople and designers can be on the same page of what needs to be laid out in a way that is going to get attention and be effective for the business owner.
All right, so now that I've got the site up here, I'll show you again how to find the campaigns and then the new content. So right now I'm in the Creative Library. You want to make sure that your search source is spec ads and covers selected here, and then scroll till you get to the spec ads and covers filters area. Under the print ad type menu, you'll find campaign, and you'll also find a lot of other really great categories here too, like contests, multiple advertiser directories, the infographics that Laura mentioned, or Daryl mentioned rather, are here, self-promotion ads. So definitely check out this menu. There's a lot of great stuff here. But you'll choose campaign for the campaigns, and of course type in keywords if there's something specific you're looking for. And that will bring them all up. And then, like I mentioned, the ads usually come up together, but you can click this more options icon below. And then if you scroll down to, you know, this is a new one that just went up. The ads haven't been connected together yet, but usually you'll see related content and it will have all the ads there. They do also show up in the Yumi also like as well, that has other ads similar based on the keywords. So that's the campaigns. As far as the new content, that is the search book, and that's in the top left-hand corner here. And there are also links from the homepage and the splash pages for each of the libraries, but you'll always find it here in the top left corner. And there's a search book for each one of our services. We have so many people on here, you're all getting different packages. The Metro newspaper service will be the one that all of you have. The other ones may be add-ons. You can view any of them. You just won't be able to download unless you're subscribing to that service. So if you just click on the one you want to look at, then you can just flip through the pages from here. It's just an online flip book. And then, as I mentioned, when you get to a page that you like, you can just click that page and it will take you right into the Creative Library where you can download the image or the ad. All right, so hopefully that answered those questions. Are there additional costs for adding a user account for an employee separate from the user who created the account? Absolutely not. All of our users, you can have as many as you need. They're unlimited. There's no extra charge. And we encourage each person to have their own login. That way, if somebody leaves, we can delete their access so they can't use it anywhere else, and everybody else doesn't get thrown off. So absolutely, you can all have passwords. There's no extra charge. Someone, let's see, you need to change the account name because it was under the previous owner. You can give us a call or send us an email and we can help you take care of that. It's Julie, so let us know and we can help you out with that. But yeah, we can definitely change the name over. White space is your friend.
I like that line.
Yeah. How do we tell if the wizard is available with your subscription? That's a good one. In the My Account link at the top right, where I mentioned you can go to update passwords, you can also change your own password. You will see an option that says My Services. If you click here, it will list all the services that are part of your subscription, and it would show as My Ad Interactive Ad Designer -wizard. And you can expand any of these for more details about that service if it's something that you're not familiar with. And you'll also see services that you're not subscribing to that you can add on. And if you're not subscribing to the wizard, you can go in and play around with it. You can plug in your client's information, you can choose a template, and you can see what it does. You won't be able to print or email the ad from there, but you can at least get a feel for how it works. And if it's something that you think can be useful, let us know, and we'll get you pricing on that. I've got stuff coming in both windows here. What did we not cover yet? Under the Creative Library, under Search Source, I only have 3 checkbox options. I see you have trademarks, logos, food and dining, etc. Are those available to everyone? Those are add-on services. If you want pricing, let us know. You can see what's available in all those libraries when you log out. So when you're logged into the site, you're only going to see what you have access to and what's part of your subscription. But if you log out, you can go in and do searches and see what's available under all of those, under those different services. The same with autos too. So autos, the trademarks and logos, and the food and dining. You can check those all out. See if we have the kind of things you need, and then call us and we can add it on or get you pricing. One of you guys want to field this one? As a sales rep, how would you navigate the communication process between the designer's creativity and what the client is directly looking for? You kind of hit on that a bit already. Do you have anything more to add?
That's a good one. I think sometimes designers are artists and have a concept of, you know, what's going to look amazing, and you are obviously creating a synergistic effect with the salespeople to create the optimal solution. So I guess cooperation, an exchange of thoughts is really vital in the process. It's hard to kind of genericize, but it's just a matter of communication between the salesperson and the designer regarding the ultimate needs of the advertiser. Sometimes a designer has to, you know, maybe give it up. Okay, we do have to have that list of 48 items in there. But sometimes a salesperson can acquiesce and say, you know, that white space really does help draw a prospective customer to the ad, which could result in, you know, a successful interaction with a consumer. So it's tough. Sometimes it's a great, easy relationship, and sometimes it's a little more difficult. I hope that helps a bit, and we will continue to think about this.
What do you think about asking for a designer giving 2 versions? Like, here's a version that the client is based on what the client asked for. Here's a version of what I think could be better, and present them both to the.
That's double work for the designer.
Okay.
It's double work for the designer, but it you know, in a perfect world, it's kind of nice to have the choice.
It is. It is.
And it might lessen the frustration if a designer feels imposed upon,
right.
You know, just to offer a possible solution. And I think it's a great idea.
It's 2:00.
All right, let's see, what else do we have? How often do you update the content on the site? That is changing, so I'll send that to you, Daryl.
Yeah, we have created a new model, a new paradigm for our content, and we are uploading content on a weekly basis. We typically had been uploading fresh content every 30 days. But as we've moved through the last year and discovered the immediacy of needs, we altered our model again, and we've been uploading content weekly. And we think that that's really optimizing people's ability to get what they need when they need it.
Are salespersons given design information in your sales webinar? Key to the person in ad composition is the design that the salesperson communicates from the customer. This is not something that we've brought up in our sales webinars because, as I mentioned before, it's usually the customer service department that's doing it, and design is not our specialty. We do go over the different ways that that sales can communicate with designers and what they need, but we've never actually done anything specific to this design information. So this is really the first webinar we've done, which is why we're so excited that there are so many sales reps that signed up for it. And we're hoping to bridge that gap.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yep.
Can I just backtrack a moment and talk about our weekly uploads and the content available on a weekly basis? Something that, that has been corresponding to our weekly communication email. We've reconfigured our weekly communication, which grew out of a COVID response. And we discovered, as we spoke to our customers weekly about fresh content that we were including, that it really made sense as a model. So please look at our weekly emails. We put in a pretty great effort to let everyone know what is fresh, what is new, what we're excited about, and what we hope you're excited about.
And if you're not getting those emails, send us an email or call us and we'll make sure that you're on the list. Again, you can always go to the My Account link, check out your profile and make sure that we have the right email address for you. Check your junk mail. They may be going there, but definitely let us know if you're not getting them and you need to be.
Can I just say one more thing about the sales design relationship? Like in the presentation, any information you can give to the designer early on is best because you do want to try to nail it or as close to nail it in the first go without asking for lots of changes. So any additional information you can give to the designer right away, like this is a must be in the ad piece of information, or they are really more traditional style wise. If you want to play around and maybe give them something else and want me to show another version that you're more excited about or think will be more effective, do that, but just those little bits of information when giving ad copy, I think will help the designer realize, okay, this client is going to be one that they just want it. This is the way they always done it. This is the way they want it. So, it would cut down on some of that back and forth.
And if you're taking out a Metro spec ad to start them with an idea, that could also cut down on the back and forth because you're presenting them with something already, so they have something to look at. They don't have to try and think of all these things they want in their ad. They can look at that and make some, hopefully they're just making, a few changes here and there. It's some place to start and maybe, cut back on a little of that back and forth and I want to see this in 5 different colors and 10 different fonts. If they have an idea in front of them, it's part of that is already you've got to start. Got a starting place. Is there a link for the recording of this webinar? We will be sending that out later today or tomorrow morning. You'll get, once we get it all processed and uploaded, we'll put that together with links to the good ad, bad ad presentations, and we'll put that in an email for everybody. I think that's all of them. Any last questions? All right, I don't see anything else coming through. And again, if you do think of anything afterwards, you can send us an email, and we'll be happy to email you back the answers. And I just want to thank everybody for attending. This has been, like I said, we had a great response to this webinar. I hope you all benefited from some of this information, and we had people from all different departments. It was great to get all your questions, and we will get that follow-up email sent out to you with all the links. And again, just contact us if there's anything else you need.
Thank you, too. I just want to also say, again, please feel free to contact us with any suggestions for future content, any specific needs. We love to be responsive. We love to hear what's happening. We love to hear what you need and try to find a solution for you. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.